Hello and welcome. This is a lesson on soil. Get ready to learn. This is a section of ground that's been taken away, and you see the different layers of soil here. Did you know weathering breaks rocks into smaller pieces? And soil contains rock and dead as well as living things. Soil is built in layers with the most living things in the top layers. As you go down, it gets harder and harder to find a place to dig in. Soil can be moved, can also be destroyed. Why is this important? Well, soil is a precious resource. Provides food and medicines. Go to any farm, you'll find that out. Now, soil can be damaged by unsustainable farming. Planting the same crop year after year after year takes all the nutrients out of the soil and makes it so it doesn't grow things very well. Now, soil contains small rocks, sediments, things left behind by water, boulders, gravel, sand, silt, clay. These are larger ones. Boulders, they weather down into gravel, which weathers down into sand, which weathers into silt and clay. Now, soil contains living things, plants, animals, insects. Worms. Soil contains small pieces of rock, and it's home to many organisms. It's home to plants, keeps them rooted in the ground. Roots for trees. Trees are plants. Soil contains earthworms and ants. Two you'd probably know the most. Well, we also have decomposers in soil. Composers are things that build up. You compose a symphony. Decomposers break things down. Mushrooms, they break down organic materials. Roots break rocks. Earthworms move materials in soil. Earthworm is a poop machine. Goes in one end and comes out the other. They move material in the soil. Here you have a tree that's breaking up this rock. Mushrooms breaking down a fallen log. Earthworm. Material goes in this end and poop comes out the other. Okay, here we have some of the different layers of the soil. Living things like you, me, and plants and trees, they're on the top layer. Particles are small. As you move down through the layers, they get bigger and bigger, though. As you move down, there are less and less living things. Here's what the layers sometimes look like. We have humus, the living layer here. Think grass. Under that is the topsoil, and that is the soil that's on the top Duh. Underneath that is the subsoil, sub meaning underneath, think submarine. So you got the topsoil, the subsoil, and then you have weathered rock fragments. So as you go down, you're going deeper and deeper until you hit bedrock, which is just solid rock on the plates of the planet. And if you get a section of soil taken away, maybe somebody was digging here and they cut through deep into the soil, you can see these. Here's the humus up here. Topsoil, the subsoil, fragments, and then you're getting down into the hard bedrock. So soil has layers. Now, soil can also be moved by rivers. As you can imagine, if this is a valley here, before the river would just go straight through the valley. But every so often you get a little bit of a twist in it. And the water that flows on the outside is slower than the water that flows on the inside of the bend. And it erodes, or it weathers the material and erodes it away. And this is called a meander. So the rivers move the soil. The water erodes material on the outside of a bend and deposits it on the inside. So it erodes from the outside and deposits it on the inside, which just makes it worse. Water travels faster on the outside of the bend than the inside, and that's major reason for doing that, or for having this happen. And the slower water deposits the materials. There's not as much energy to hold it in the water, so it deposits out. This is not rain. This is soil. Wind will move soil. The dust storms moved topsoil and left farmland with no usable soil. The subsoil doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it. This was known as the Dust Bowl. And they developed new farming methods to reduce this kind of thing happening. You don't turn the soil over as much. You don't go as deep. So we know how to not make this happen again. It was horrible. So why is it important to know about soil? It's a precious resource. It sustains us, provides food and medicines, and it can be damaged by unsustainable farming. There's your lesson on soil.